So now we will start one new chapter that is related to the properties of liquid. So we have discussed the mechanical, especially that mechanical properties of liquid. So the mechanical properties of solid, we have defined several physical parameters related to mechanical properties, and that was especially that was elasticity, and this elasticity was defined, classified on the basis of direction of stress and strain created. If that is one dimensional, that is Young's modulus, and then the bulk modulus and the shearing modulus, etc. And that is for the especially for the solids. And in all these cases, one important thing is that was the force between atoms. So the interatomic force between atoms. So interatomic force between atoms in the case of solid, this is very strong, and although these atoms, one can say, if microscopically we think this is that atom in chemistry point of view, then these two atoms are neutral atoms, because it's electrons and protons in microscopic level, electronic level. So these are the neutral atoms, but a force between these two atoms, this is applied, and that is known as the interatomic force. And that force is some sort of one electrostatic force. How one can say, this is that nucleus where the positive nucleus is there, this is the positive nucleus, and around this nucleus electrons are here, and the right electrons are here, and these are known as electron cloud. So this nucleus, this is positive charge, it is attracted by the electron cloud of this neighboring atom, and the positive nucleus, this positive nucleus is attracted by the electron cloud of this. So that interatomic force is because of that mutual interaction between nucleus and the electron cloud of neighboring atoms. This is the interatomic force. This is the very strong force in the case of that solid materials. And if we just move from solid to liquid and gas, then when we think about, this is for the solid, when we move to gas or liquid or gas, then the interatomic force decreases, and this liquid and the gas, the interatomic force is very much smaller than the interatomic force of solid. As in turn, this electron and that liquid, so that's why liquid can move from one place to other. That is known as the flow of liquid. And this is the flow of liquid. Liquid can flow, and it can take the shape of container. So this is the special properties of the liquid. The interatomic force is, in the case of liquid, this is very small with compared to solid. That's why it can flow from one place to another place with higher level to lower level, and as well as it can take the shape of that container. If this is that container like this, then the shape of that liquid will be this. If this is that container, then the shape of that liquid will be this. So it can take the shape of that container. This is the property of liquid. And this is different from gas. Gas is, the interatomic force is, gas is very, very rare, and it can freely move, and it is independent of that container. So this is the difference between that liquid, solid, and the gases on the basis of that interatomic force. So one more term we can add here, that shearing strain or shearing force. Shearing, that term is special term, that shearing stress or shearing elasticity, stress or shearing force. This is not possible in the case of that liquid as well as gas, especially in the case of liquid, because when we try to apply this force, it will contain, it will start flowing. That's why there is no searing type effect in the liquid. This is the special property of this liquid with compared to solid. Okay, so that properties of this liquid can be studied. The properties of especially that properties of liquid can be studied in two parts, in two categories. One, when liquid is at rest, means that is in a container, it's at rest, and this is known as hydrostatic. That study is known as hydrostatic. And the property we will study in this hydrostatic, that is especially surface tension, viscosity, etc. Surface tension, what is surface tension, what is viscosity, we will discuss in this study, that is the hydrostatic. And second, when the liquid is flowing, it is transforming from one place to another place, from higher level to lower level, it is in motion. If the liquid is flowing, then that is known as hydrodynamics. So we will study in this case the flow of water in a tube, or the flow of liquid in a tube. Especially in many examples we will take that water is the special case because it has a special property. So when the liquid is at rest, then the study is known as hydrostatic. When that liquid that is in motion, then that is flowing in a tube, flowing from higher level to another level, a lower level, then that is known as hydrodynamics. That study is known as hydrodynamics. So we will study the flow of water, flow of that liquid in a tube. Okay, some terms, physical terms which is used here. That is the two main terms we will use here. That one is the pressure, second one is the density. So we will discuss about pressure first. So this is the container containing liquid, and this liquid has the same shape of this container. This is half filled container. One object is somewhere here. Then this liquid will apply the force on this object in the all directions. This is the general observation when we have a container and we just study for any object, then that this liquid will apply the force on that particular body, and that force in equilibrium, if this is floating, means the total force is balanced. Okay, so this force applied, this is balanced by this force in the from the upward direction. Okay, so this is one force. Second, if simple container having a liquid like this, then again this liquid is applying the force, but there is no body floating inside. So this is applying the force on the wall of container. Okay, this force, if this force actually depends on the total force, that actually depends on the force as well as also this is surface area, and this is represented by that term that is known as pressure. I think you are aware of pressure. So the pressure, this is the physical parameter, one of the physical parameters we use in this particular unit, that is the pressure. Pressure is defined as force per unit area. So this is equal to F upon A, force per unit area. And this is the scalar quantity, because here in this case especially the magnitude of force is taken, and generally this is normal to that object, and the area as well as that force, both the direction, both the direction is in equilibrium. That's why this is just the scalar quantity. So since here the magnitude of force is prominently, mainly used normal to surface. So pressure is a scalar quantity. So here in this definition, this force, this is the broad force applied in a large surface area. In somewhere, if that some small discrete force is applied in different small areas, then this pressure can be also defined as, so this is broad force and the uniform force, I think uniform force applied in a large area. If a discrete force is applied in small size, if some small discrete force is applied in random small area, so discrete small force, we can represent that is actually delta F, and that small area, this is delta A. Then pressure is defined as, that P, it is equivalent to delta F by delta A. And we have used such mathematical terms frequently in physics, when that uniform force and that the process is continuous, then we just define this type of terms, and we take that small area, infinitesimal surface, infinitesimal area, then infinitesimal part of that particle physical parameter, then this is that definition. So pressure is del F by del A, and we can also convert this in the differential form. So in the differential form, if this delta A tends to 0, then this is small enough. This delta tends to, then from the definition of derivatives, this P is equal to limit delta A tends to 0, delta F by delta A, and this can be written as equal to dF by dA. Dimension of pressure. So that pressure P is equal to force upon area, and the dimension is, this is mLT minus 2 by L square. So this is equal to mL inverse T minus 2. Is it? And that's stress and pressure both have the same type of definition, as well as that unit and dimension both are almost identical. It's identical. But that stress is actually that restoring force per unit area. Remember that this is the difference between pressure and that stress. Stress is whatever that applying force, that is restoring force per unit area. That is stress. Whereas this pressure, that is the applied force per unit area. This is the pressure. So the direction of stress as well as that pressure, you can say both are opposite. That stress is restoring force. We are applying that force to elastic material. then that elastic material is applying the same force in that opposite direction. So that restoring force per unit area is stress, but here that applied force per unit area is pressure. Now the unit of pressure. So in general, that SI unit is Pascal. Pascal is SI unit. And there are several other units which are in use. So when atmospheric pressure, 1 atm atmospheric pressure, this is also used. And generally, if we measure that pressure with compared to this atmospheric pressure, so this one atmospheric pressure is equal to 1 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal. 1.013. Exact value is this is 1.013 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal. This is the exact one, but for the calculation we can take just 1 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal. One more unit, that is 1 torr. So this is 1 atmospheric pressure. This is equal to 1.013 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal. 1 torr. 1 torr is equal to 1 TORR. Somewhere in some mathematics, if it is given as 1 torr, then this is equal to 133 Pascal. I think yes, 133 Pascal. This is 1 torr. Somewhere 1 bar is also used. 1 bar, it is equal to again 10 to the power 5 Pascal. So this 1 bar is similar to that one atmospheric pressure, but used in different subject. So 1 bar pressure, that is equal to 10 to the power 5 Pascals. So now one more physical parameter used in this unit. Before then we will just try to measure that pressure. But before that we should know one important physical parameter, that is density. So density, it is represented by rho, and this is mass per unit volume. Mass per unit volume. This is equal to m by v. Mass per unit volume. So you know that unit and dimension. So the unit of rho is kg per. One specific density term is also used. This is the density. The second one is specific density. Specific density is the density with compared to the density of water. So that specific or relative density, it is the density of substance upon density of water, and this density of water is not at normal temperature, but it is at 4 degrees centigrade. 4 degrees centigrade, the density of water is one special property, specific property. So the density of water is 4 degrees centigrade. When this is compared with the density of substance, then that is known as specific or relative density. Okay, so we have now two parameters. One is the pressure. Pressure is force per unit area, and then the density. And then throughout this particular unit, we will use mostly these two physical parameters. Now, how this pressure is measured in general? So the measurement of pressure. So we are using different units. So the measurement of pressure. So the mathematical formula for this pressure P we have just discussed is force per unit area. Means generally if we can measure anyhow the force and this area, then just we will put that value and we can calculate this pressure. This simple model, simple method, and for which what experimental setup we can have. This is just a container, and one slider here, and this is that spring connected with this, and the spring constant is, let's say, K. When we apply force, this is just a slider. It can move freely. There is no friction at all. So when we apply this force, this, and the area of this surface we are knowing. So just when we apply this force, obviously this spring will compress, and this force on that spring F is equal to multiplied by Kx, where this x is just that displacement after applying this force. So this force is equal to Kx. Area, we can measure area on that surface, so that pressure can be written as equal to Kx by A. This is very simple method to measure that magnitude of pressure. Okay. Now next is the measurement of atmospheric pressure. So the measurement of atmospheric pressure. For this, one barometer is used. Barometer. One system, one device, one instrument that is known as the barometer. A barometer is used. The mechanism of barometer is very simple. In this case, mercury is used. Mercury is a liquid metal. It is used. And what is the structure of that barometer? This is a simple container. This is a simple container filled with mercury. This is mercury. Filled with mercury. Then one beaker of length 1 meter is taken, and that is also filled with mercury. And just then we just turn that beaker, that tube. So this is that tube, initial tube. This tube filled with, again, this is also filled with mercury, and the length of this is 1 meter. The standard 1. Okay. Then we just did this turn on this test tube. This tube, not test tube. This tube in this particular container. अब इसको क्या किया, इसको यहाँ से बंद करके, you just use a car, तो यहाँ से बंद करके इसके ऊपर ऐसे उलट दी, उलट करके उस कार को या थंब से अगर तुमने उसको करके रखा उसको हटा दी, तो what will happen? So this is that system. Just so what will happen? This that the complete mercury, which is the completely filled mercury, this will just come down because of its own weight. And the level of this mercury, initial level of this mercury was like this. Initial level of mercury is this. After just the effect of this mercury system, when this mercury is leveling down, the mercury is up to this, then this mercury, the level of this mercury, this will little bit up. Okay, clear? So क्या हो रहा है, ये कंटेनर में पहले से मर्क्यूरी रखा हुआ है, हमने एक टेस्ट ट्यूब जिसका लेंथ जो है, दिस द फिक्स लेंथ 1 मीटर का, हमने एक टेस्ट ट्यूब लिया और उस टेस्ट ट्यूब को पूरा मर्क्यूरी से भर दिए, और मर्क्यूरी से भर के यहाँ पे थंब लगा के या कार्क लगा के इसको इसके ऊपर उलट दिए. उलटने के बाद फिर इस कार्क को या थंब जो भी है उसको हटा दिए. हटाने के बाद क्या हो, बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स ऑन वेट, दिस मर्क्यूरी विल शिफ्ट डाउन, and the level of this mercury in this container, that will move up. So after a particular height, after this particular height, this is after this is a new height, equilibrium will be there. So now this is that equilibrium condition. So this is now the vacuum. Vacuum will be created here. Thing is there, and here the pressure. This pressure, it is applied by atmosphere. So this pressure is known as atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. So here and here, that atmospheric pressure will be there. So let's say this is C, this is A, this is B. Okay, and this atmospheric pressure, this is because of this height. This is equal to the height of this mercury. Okay, so pressure at A is equal to pressure at B, and this is just atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. And this C, this is that at C the pressure will be zero. Pressure will be zero because this is vacuum, there is nothing. So pressure at A, this is, let us represent this by PA, this is by PB, so that PA, it is equal to PB, this is equal to the PC plus this height of mercury. So that is the weight of mercury column in the tube. Okay, so this is equal to, that's PA, it is equal to PB, this is equal to, this is 0, plus, now we will calculate the weight of a mercury column per unit area, because we are talking about that pressure. So per unit area, that we will calculate that weight of that mercury column. So we will calculate this. So this is equal to mass multiplied by Z, mass of mercury, and acceleration due to gravity, this is weight per unit area. And mass can be written in terms of density. Okay, so that density, it is equivalent to mass per unit volume, and volume, it is equivalent to just volume is A multiplied by height. This is the height. So height multiplied by this cross section area A, that area. So this is A multiplied by H. So mass multiplied by rho AH. So this is equivalent to PA, it is equivalent to PB, it is equivalent to 0 plus mass we can put. So this is rho AH G by A. A can be cancelled. So this PA, it is equivalent to PB, that is equivalent to rho GH. Okay, so generally this barometer, this is the mechanism of barometer, and that atmospheric pressure, this is equivalent to rho multiplied by G multiplied by H, where this G, this rho, this is the density of mercury, H is the height of that mercury column. So where rho is density of mercury, density of Hg, and that H is height of Hg column in the tube. So generally this H is actually equal to, which is equal to 76 centimeter in standard condition. So generally the atmospheric pressure, that is equivalent to 76 centimeter of mercury column, this is used. So rho is taken is equivalent to 13.6. H is equivalent to 76 centimeter. The value of G you know. When we put all these value, we can get that as atmospheric pressure. Okay, that this is the density of mercury, that is 13.6 in SI unit, and this G, that is 9.8, and this H, this is 76 centimeter. So when you put all this value, you can get that result. Okay, so that is 1.1 into 10 per 5 Pascal. So the result, that is equal to 1.013 into 10 per 5 Pascal. So you can calculate this. In the next class we will discuss some more about this pressure and then Pascal's law. Okay, thank you.